Hey YouTube, you have Leonard here. Bring guys and gals, Gimai Seikatsu. Today's my stepsister. We're here, we're live. Everybody was up, what is good? Episode number 11. I'm going to say this. This series, as I've said before, is so well done. I love reading the author comments. Last week's episode was very good. Very sad. Like right now, we're in a phase of this show, everyone, where you have a foreboding feeling of just like, ugh. Like, you feel a little anxious, a little sad. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, there's two ways to view what's happening. You could argue what's happening for Saki and Yuuta, and I've talked to people about this, is good because they're becoming more of a family. And, like, they shouldn't be dating anyway, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, they've always wanted to have, like, a happy family, and now they actually are achieving this. Yes, I understand that fully. I fully get that. Not only Oshinoko, Kei Suzune fan base are also the same. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. That's very true. And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Ciao, duty. I think we're talking about just like when you think about the fan bases, Kana and Akane, looking like Kei versus Suzune, it's just like, oh. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I see it already all the time when I'm on YouTube and I get the videos. Anyway, with Days of My Stepsister, guys, it's just one of those things where I'm just kind of like, I get the family relationship dynamic getting better. And it's at the detriment of the relationship dynamic. And Saki being adamant about brother and things like that. My issue, as I've kind of stated before, it's not an issue of the show, it's just like an issue of like for the characters and how I feel, is that I don't think... Actually, I can't even say I don't think. I know. I know for a fact that Saki and Yuuta are not happy. Saki's not happy because even though she's trying to do this, there's this foreboding sense of just feeling like, And I go back again to like in the episode, one of the most important parts was when Saki, like when she had that hesitation and didn't say brother when they were like walking. When the mother walked off, then Saki walked off. That was actually one of the most powerful moments of the episode for me personally. That hesitation. Like, I think Saki, as we know, is doing this and locking her feelings up, but she feels some type of way. And I'm all fall asleep. Oh dang, don't do it. Don't do it. Saki for me, I wonder where it's gonna go. I wonder what Yuta's gonna do. And like they're each having like romance kind of on the side. Yuuta finds this girl who's interesting. Saki, there's that guy who's interested in her. And I'm curious if they try to explore these things and attempt to kind of like vanish. But I don't know. I don't know. I have so many thoughts, guys. I truly do. I think about this show more than I probably should. And you know what ends up happening is that when you try to like find something to replace the feelings, you end up realizing, oh, my feelings really are strong. They grow stronger. Let's hop into this episode. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I guess we're starting with the opening. So smash that like button, is greatly appreciated. We're going to begin. We're going to start this episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we started the opening. It's funny, this opening has really grown on me. Oh, Yuuta and Saki got number 1 spot on Couples of the Week, and Kakuze and Alia number 2. Is that back-to-back weeks? Because I remember seeing something that Yuuta and Saki got number 1 couple again the week before. If I recall correctly. That's cool. Like, it's so interesting. I think for most of us who are watching this, we understand the issues with them dating, but at the same time would love for them to date because that's what they want. Bro, there's no... Honestly, Aquakana fans cannibalize each other. No one cares. Synchron, why? Synchron! Oh, they went in 2 different pages. She's so excited for this too. Akiko's just like, I'm about to prove I'm a good mom. Akiko's really nice. Sarah. Episode 11. Nah, that's his wife. Of course he's gonna do that. That's his wife. I would do the same thing. Oh no. Maya. I'll go ahead. Sure, James. Wait, what? No! Saki, why? Yeah, but not really. You not really. No, you're not. Exactly. I'm glad that Maya said this because it's 100% correct. You guys are literally strangers. Maya's calling absolute BS on you. Oh no. I just talked about this. I was trying to be considerate. She knows what she's doing. It's 100% your business. This is wild. Nope. Girls always know. Oh. Fighting! I'm in K-drama mode. Oh. Mm. Good assist right there. Akiko's such a good woman. And I'm honestly like, this is where it hits me, man. The parents are good people and the parents deserve happiness. But if the parents are going to be like, the kids also deserve happiness. And they're sacrificing for the sake of the parents. Aww. And of course, Saki hears this. Aww. Wholesome. Good. Yeah. I don't think so. Oh, James, it depends on how strong they feel about it. It's possible that she would, and she hasn't given any inkling as to why she wouldn't. But the deeper they become siblings and they become a family, the harder it becomes. But Akiko probably doesn't want a romance between the two of them. I think they're both very earnest about it. I think she would approve because that's the type of person that she is. That's just my 2 cents. But it's not like she's pushing for it to happen. She does not want this to be a thing. This would be interesting. Aw. I think for Japan it's pretty like in line though, the whole rumor stuff. Like that's something that I've seen so many times in, like anime and dramas. I think it's in line in the culture, sadly. She's like, hey. In Japan they want to tie. Yeah, I agree. Oh, Shiodi. Hmm. Oh, that was easy. Dang. And Saki's gonna follow her, of course. The fact that she could tell right away that Saki's being troubled by something, that's crazy. Oh, by the way, remind me, guys, I have an experience to tell you guys about like high school and a teacher. Remind me to tell you guys afterwards in terms of like trash. Is that a puppet? How does she know this? Yeah, you kind of outed yourself. She's like, I do not appreciate this. This is very intrusive. Why are you lying? Man, people are just pressing the two of them this episode. You're not answering the question. That's facts. It literally has only been 3 months. She seems nice, by the way. She's very tall. Gets the same thing. Oh, she changed. Interesting. Was going for the kelp rice ball onigiri. Changes to a sandwich as well. Huh? Yep. That's facts. Yep. That's very accurate. Agreed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Accurate. Very, very accurate. For what? He's like, what? Nope. Awkward. Hmm? Got rejected without doing anything I can. I think you're a vampire. That's exactly what I would think. No. Agreed. I like Yuuta a lot. I truly do. Yuuta being one of them, of course. Dang. This is kind of going where I thought it was going to, but not the way I expected it. It's like the same way that is spending time with Kaho. This guy who likes her, I can see Saki trying to give it a chance and that being a test to her feelings. That tells you all you need to know. Exactly. It's true. Everything she said is very true. Oh, literally the lesson. Ethics and interesting. Ethics in society. Oh, he noticed that too. Oh, very conscious. I like that. I like that Asamoto noticed the same thing. I like that they're having this nice moment still at the dining table. I miss these dining tablehood moments. Can you stop? Every Nissan hurts me more and more. It should be a good thing, but It seems she didn't get jealous. Knowing her, she probably did. I actually think in this case, like, Saki did not give me any signs of jealousy. Oh, I got so many thoughts, guys. So many thoughts. How does the manga to realize that what he feels for Saki can be filled with our connection? But here, he says the same thing about connections. Remember last episode they cut Asuma's friend talking to him about making other connections? Now Saki got the same advice from someone. Well, so hear me out for a second. This is what I was saying, and it kind of goes into even the Arthur comments when we discussed it previously. Remember we talked about last week, and again, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, that what's going to happen now is this importance of them branching out. Saki, a person who potentially likes her. Yuuta is someone who potentially he could see as a love interest and trying to form a connection. The thing that's going to be really interesting is going to be that when they try to form these connections and are successful in doing so, but these connections aren't the same as what they feel for each other, that's where things will get extremely interesting. And that's why I thought it was so cool, the fact that, again, we have Saki getting this, like, sensei basically telling her, like, yeah, you need to experience other things. Experience other things, and, like, especially with your personality, you might be shocked that you will form a connection with somebody else. But, oh, they're baiting us with this ending. Oh, gosh. As I was trying to say, it gets to the point, guys, where if Saki ends up finding somebody, yeah, I'm really triggered right now. And let's just say she starts to, like, get close to the individual, but then all of a sudden it's just like, but this isn't what I felt for Yuuta. And Yuuta, same thing. He's getting closer to Kaho, right? And as he's getting closer to Kaho, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I'm getting closer to her and closer to her. And this is really nice. But it's not with Saki. They're going to realize that what they have for each other is probably very genuine. And I think that was the whole point of what the sensei was trying to explain to Saki. You're the type of person who quickly gets attached to an individual. But if you get attached to somebody else and you try to form connection with someone else and you let them in and it's not the same nonetheless, well, that kind of tells you everything you need to know without all the angst. Like, your answer's there. After watching this episode, I realized something. When they met at the beginning of the series, they preferred to be alone. After Saki moved into this house, they had to live with someone and their work and time revolved around each other. But now, both of them are making new connections and are busy with their own work. Now they can find out what real feelings are. I agreed. The story is not dragged out, but thoughtfully carried forward as their circumstances. I completely agree. It's really interesting how this story all kind of finds a way to come together. The thing that's really going to be interesting, again, is the idea of, like, real feelings. Because right now, we're under the assumption, and I do believe this, that what Saki and Yuuta have for each other is indeed truly real. I do firmly believe that. But now the test comes in. And it's just one of those things where, again, I even think about the episode, and can I go back very quickly before I get into Arthur comments? I'll see if I can find them. Sorry, guys. Give me one quick sec. Okay. Where is the scene? Is the scene right where she goes back to, like, teaching the class? Where is it? Here we go. So this was the scene right here. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to put it up. I'll put it up. I can't put it up because of YouTube. I'll lower the filter nonetheless. I'm at the scene. This is like at the 1909 minute mark, right? Where we see what the sensei has on the board because she teaches the ethics class. And essentially what the board shows, it says taboos in ethics, culture, customs change over time, sneaking in what? I don't even know what this word is. Dang, that's wild. Consanguine. How do I even say this word? I know what it means. I cannot say this. Consanguineous marriage. Basically, what it's trying to say is like marriage. It's like it comes from the root of like this idea of coming from like ancestry. Basically, I can't say it. Can you say it? Can you say this word? No, I can't say it. I literally cannot say the one. CON. Like I know what the word means. I legit cannot say it. GUINEOUS. I just sent it. Consanguineous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. If you're saying it, by all means, credit to you. But it's like this idea, basically, like it's all about same ancestor marriages and stuff like that. That's what consanguineous means. It's like same ancestry marriage. I guess what will happen next episode. Now I'm very excited. Ooh, I'm excited for that. Gui, consanguineous. I think it's No, I think it's consanguinity. Consanguinity. That's the word. That's like the root. So if you look up consanguineous. No, that doesn't make sense. Hold on, let's spell it. What does Google have to say? Hold on. We've as always when it comes to this show, we deviate. I'm going to the constant. Okay, let's see what translator says. Let's see what Google has to say.
Consanguineous.
Consanguineous? Dang, James was right.
Consanguineous.
I don't trust Google anyway. Google's stupid. Anyway, coupled siblings, children from different parents, ancient times, Egypt, Greece, Persia, Japan, today. So they're going through time. Ethics in contemporary society values society does not equal individual revision of ethics. Yes, you're right, James. So it's just one of those things where she's teaching a class about this and about taboos and like ancestry and like marriage within family and things like that and blah, blah, blah. It's just very interesting. Like, I feel like the show is setting us up very clearly for some type of a moment where, yes, this is actually going to happen. I think they're setting us up for this. I really think they are. And the out at the end of the day comes back to the fact that, again, they're not actually related. But it's the ethical side of things in terms of like how society would view siblings, even step siblings, like being together. It's so interesting. Now my big question here is, can we find the Reddit comments on Reddit? Kimai Seikatsu. I don't know if I can find it. Hold on 1 second. In the manga, the parents' meet ended in a very different way. I wonder, is the manga loyal to the light novel or is it different? I'm looking for Arthur Mikawa Ghost Commentary. Arthur Mikawa Ghost Commentary, episode 11. Alright, I got it. So as always, we're going to read the commentary very quickly and then we're going to end this here. Today's word count is 5,700. It's not 9,000 at least. Metal Samaya. Okay, so we start from Metal Samaya, everybody. So here we go. Novel time, indeed. Maya cares a lot about Saki and Yuuta. She has liked Saki since Saki's isolation and is very happy that Saki has recently become more comfortable with her surroundings. She is also somewhat aware that this change is due to Yuuta. In the original novel, she says straight out, they seem to like each other though, which gets to the heart of the matter. On the other hand, however, she also sensed that the relationship between Yuuta and Saki has not changed at all since the swimming pool, or rather, there is a distance between them. She is a leader who is often relied upon, and one day, a male student comes to her for advice about love. Being a fair-minded girl, she doesn't want to dismiss the request and would like to support him if there's a possibility. Of course, if Yuuta and Saki are in love with each other, she won't force the male student, and it would be kind to make him give up on his feelings. However, although she intuitively feels that Yuuta and Saki are in love with each other, they deny it, so she is not sure. If it's all just her misunderstanding and the two are just brother and sister, she thinks it's okay to support the male student. However, until the end, she is still unsure about wondering if it is true, and she is left feeling unsettled. The standard for judgment is clear. Is it good for Saki? Therefore, Saki's own feelings are the most important, and if dating that person makes Saki happy, then it's fine. In that sense, you could say that Maya evaluates the male student who came to her for advice as a good person whom I can recommend if Saki doesn't like Yuuta. I agree. If she thinks that she absolutely doesn't want them to get together, then there's no need to hesitate about whether to give him advice or not. We've already hinted at who that boy is in the story so far, so viewers will know who he is. Yes, we already know. Then, can I support another boy? Is where Suzuki Ayu's acting shines. The words are simply mumbled, as if no clear intention can be realized. It seems like a question, but it's not a question at all. The ennui that Maya, who is usually so glamorous and lively, shows in this scene is unintentionally heartwarming. Nice. Conversation between Yuuta and Akiko. Differences between Akiko and Saki. A conversation between Yuuta and Akiko as they meet up at school and walk down the corridor in the humorous conversation. Yuuta is thinking about many things. Is it possible to accurately read the presence of absence of ulterior motives? Of course, you have a point. In the original novel during this exchange, Yuuta feels that Akiko and Saki are very different. They really are. She asserts that she can easily do things that are impossible to prove and impossible to achieve. Even though she speaks and acts carelessly, she does come across as irresponsible. She doesn't come across as irresponsible. In fact, it even makes you think that Akiko could really do it. Yuuta was surprised that she has a completely opposite stance to Ayase Saki, who doesn't make promises she can't keep and strives to be honest. An in-depth commentary on the person of Ayase Akiko, which is not even in the original novel. She is the type of person who does not communicate. So this is like the author telling us how Akiko is. She's the type of person who does not communicate only with words, or more specifically, words and sentences themselves. What does this mean? I think communication is done with the aim of transmitting information and emotions, but it's actually difficult to convey this information accurately using only words. This may seem like a given, but, for example, I'll never forgive you is a word of hatred that can be used against someone you really hate, or when you're joking around with someone you get on well with. It cannot be determined from the words alone, I agree. It looks like when you're talking to someone online, you don't know if they're JK or serious. I agree, yeah. Very similar. Like, the words itself doesn't matter. It's the intonation, how a person communicates these words. And that's why face-to-face is honestly so important. It's also why Akiko is obviously very in favor of face-to-face, because that's her communication style. So do words like, I love you so much. It is impossible to determine from the text alone whether she really likes you, is just teasing you, or making fun of you. Facial expressions, gestures, voice, intonation, together with the overall atmosphere, are used to receive information. When you're not saying anything that would make people uncomfortable, but they don't like it for some reason, it is possible that you're communicating the general atmosphere in a way that's different from your intentions. This is the difficulty of communication. It is not the content of the conversation or the words themselves, but the person Ayase Akiko is conversing with, the whole atmosphere she creates. And yet, she does not change her attitude at home and outside. This is her naturalness, and this naturalness brought relief to Yuuta. In the original novel, Yuuta compares his biological mother to Akiko here. His biological mother was the type of person who would drastically change her attitude at home and when she was out. She was someone who placed great importance on appearances and reputation. Yuuta felt uncomfortable with this change. Of course, his biological mother was not simply evil. Her behavior was also one way of communicating, and there was a history that led to her increasingly harsh attitude at home. However, for Yuuta, who was still a child at the time, and for Yuuta now, who is not yet fully matured, I think it's inevitable that he would feel more comfortable with Akiko. That's really interesting. I never realized that about like his mother and all the other stuff. That's such a clear distinction, but to see that he feels more comfortable just because the naturals that, again, Akiko creates is very cool. It's also cool to see the contrast to Akiko and the mother, especially because like you have it toward like the dad obviously ends up marrying Akiko now, and like is this something that he noticed? Is this something like even though of course he probably loved his he did love his wife, did, that now when he's fighting someone else and he thinks of all these stuff, he's just like yeah, someone who's a little bit different. Like there's clear differences, and I think that's something that probably drew the dad to Akiko, honestly. Insensitive teacher. Even though he must know about the circumstances of remarriage, why did the teacher make why did the teacher make such a careless remark as the education his mother has given him up until now? Yeah, that was really interesting to me, by the way. That's really interesting. Because he had to have known Saki, like, he doesn't have a mom. Like, when he said it felt really awkward. I'm like, oh, that's awkward because, like, no, she hasn't raised him. But I'm just like, how did the teachers not know this? I thought the woman teacher made worse commentaries, in my opinion. But the male teacher, when he said that, I was just like, It struck me as weird, and I didn't have enough time to really process it. All I could think about was how awkward is this for Akiko, how happy I was that Yuuta jumped in. But yeah, him saying that was like, huh? Huh. Why did the teacher make such a careless remark as the education his mother has given him up until now? Well, the answer is that he just said the template sentence without really thinking about it. In the original novel, he half said it before realizing, but in the anime, I think he just said it because he didn't think it was necessary to follow up on the teacher's impression that much. Dang. Yeah, because I would imagine the teacher be like, I get saying it as a formality because that's just something you say, but then everyone's like, oof. Foot in my mouth. But on the other hand, the anime has some unique hints. Do you remember homeroom at the start of the summer vacation? Wasn't it really lame? They cut it short like, dismiss. The homeroom teacher's carelessness has already been shown, so I thought that it made sense that he would let out such a careless comment here. Huh. Associate Professor Kudou Eha, first appearance. Associate Professor Kudou. See, he's a teacher in the seminar to which Yomiuri... Oh, my back hurts. Oh. Sorry, quick stretch. Quick stretch. Quick stretch. Yo, could you imagine? Is that your mom? She looks nothing like you. At all. Oh my gosh. She's a teacher in the seminar to which Yomiuri Shiori belongs, specializing in ethics in particular, which is very appropriate. Ethics is a branch of philosophy, and although the way faculties are organized may differ depending on the university, it seems that is somewhat included in the faculty of literature. Yomiuri Senpai was probably in the faculty of literature. This information was casually revealed for the first time. I could have assumed that, though. So I think that he became interested in philosophy through that and met Professor Kudou. Huh? As will become clear in later volumes, Associate Professor Kudou did not do philosophy or ethics all the time, nor does she come from Tsukinomiya Girls' School. She studied sociology at another university, but her interest shifted and she went to philosophy and ethics at Tsukinomiya Women's School. People are interesting is her underlying feeling. By the way, I heard that sound director Konuma described Fujinami Kaho as an angel while directing the voice actress, but whether it was intentional or coincidence, I clearly positioned Kudou Eha as a devil in the film. Of course, just because she's a devil doesn't mean she's a bad person at all. It's just her approach. But there are also beings that grant people's wishes. She wasn't kind enough to give Saki advice, but rather contracted her because she was a special case and interesting to observe. What words would make her act? I enjoy that. But I also think that she had to be that careless to push Saki forward. Even Maya couldn't do that. Saki is sensitive. Seems like she'll break down easily and takes everything seriously. It's because she cares about Saki that I don't think she would want to push her forward. She had no consideration for Saki and was simply out of her selfish interest, giving her answers and pushing her forward, which is why she was able to give Saki the revelation. I'll confess from my experience, I'm not fond of sociology teachers in general because they always have a way of twist morals and say something not necessary. I will say this: I do not disagree whatsoever. Controversial as it may, I do not disagree. It's also why when I was in college, I used to hate these classes. I personally am not like, and no offense to anyone if this is like your thing. I hate sociology. I feel like in college is one of my least favorite things, for that very reason that you brought out, James. Actually. The composition of angels working of Yuuta and demons working of Saki is a bit interesting. By the way, this hedgehog puppet is original to the anime. That was so weird. It's soft inside and spiky on the outside. It's super easy to understand, but it's of course a metaphor for Saki. I don't know why something like this is in the lab though. There is another effect of the hedgehog. In fact, the exchange between Saki and Associate Professor Kudou in the TV anime is summarized quite simply. In the original novel, there is a fairly long conversation about Associate Professor Kudou's skewed sensibilities and her nasty behavior, and in the course of the conversation, Saki is often annoyed, which eventually leads to her saying, "I don't really like you." That was funny. Did you have that in college? I did. I had to take as part of like the core. When I was in college in your first year, you have to take like core classes or whatever. And taking some form of sociology/ethics was part of like the core curriculum. You had to take it. I could not avoid it. I actually got into a fight with my professor. It was a very funny, interesting story. Yeah, it was that, and I do believe it. Story for another day. But I got into a fight with my professor. It led to like a 30-minute debate. I digress. I was not feeling the professor, and to me the professor was a clown. But I digress. See, now I'm distracted. I lost where I was. Hold on. In the TV anime, it's not possible to have such a long conversation in the midst of this by starting the conversation while imitating the voice of a hedgehog. It is successful in showing the reasons why Saki is annoyed in a short time. Although it is a small detail, I think this kind of ingenuity is also a testament to the craftsmanship of the TV anime Gimai Seikatsu. In addition, she is wearing what looks like a white coat when she appears, but is essentially an unnecessary white coat as she is a humanities teacher. I was wondering that. People got caught up. People got up and left the class. No, I'm a very respectful person. I will not have that discussion like during the class. I had the discussion after the class with the professor. Although it is a small, and then he invited me to his room, and then we had the discourse continued. In addition, she's wearing what looks like a white coat when she appears, but essentially, I read this. The original novel explains why she's wearing a lab coat. Just now, Associate Professor Kudou was lying down in the open air, thinking, or maybe taking a nap. I'm not sure what that was. At that time, the student in her seminar scolded her, saying, "Are you going to do a trial lesson with leaves on your suit?" and made her put a lab coat that they found somewhere to protect her from the leaves. If you look close into the camera, you can see there are leaves on the back of the lab coat. I did not notice that. I did not notice that at all. Hold on. I did not see this. I entered the Discord of real life. Did she? Where's the lab coat? Oh, I do see it. I didn't know. I didn't think much of it. I did not see the leaves. I see the leaves now over here. There's quite a bit of leaves. Bro, that's so dumb. I did not see that. No, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. That's funny. I did not. And honestly, I'll tell you this. In the event that I did see it, I just forgot. I just didn't deem it to be important whatsoever. I did not notice the leaves. I did not think anything of it. Profiling of ISA Saki. How much longer? Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done, guys. This will not hit an hour. Profiling of ISA Saki by Professor Yuuta. Associate Professor Kudou reveals more and more about ISA Saki. This is also the answer to the careful portrayal of ISA Saki that has been given from the first episode onwards. Even in the three-way conference, her homeroom teacher just told her, I was worried at first because I had heard some bad rumors about you. But initially, Saki was hanging out in Shibuya, and people around her suspect her of being a delinquent who was doing bad things. Saki never denied these rumors, but that was simply because she took the stance that it's a pain to deny every single one, so I'll just let those who want to say it themselves. And she never did it because she wanted to be thought of that way. She wanted to maximize her external and internal attractiveness. She wanted to keep herself in a state that she could be satisfied with. That was Isa Saki's weapon. However, Yuuta Sensei has seen this type of person many times in her long life, and she sees through their nature as people who are starved for love and approval, and teases them by pointing out that they actually are easily attached to in the comic version. Natsuki Saki-chan is too cute here, so viewers who have not seen it should definitely read the comic version, which is what James was mentioning. I was not a fan of it. The conversation between Saki and Kudou Sensei at this point in the TV anime is full of interesting aspects of Saki, who's being toyed with by the devil. At the beginning of the conversation, Saki calls Yuuta her brother and denies any romantic feelings for him. But when Kudou Sensei declares that she is mistaken, she tries to beat it by saying, no way. She tries not to acknowledge her romantic feelings, but when someone tells her that is not true, she doesn't want to accept it. I thought this was a good portrayal of Saki being pulled by conflicting emotions. I agree. I really did like that in the anime. Because you know that she's getting frustrated. Like, how dare you tell me my feelings are not legit? Even though you yourself are trying to also, like, say that your feelings are not legit and push it away. It's just funny. It was funny, like, how she just got poked and prodded throughout. Fujinami Kaho. We'll introduce Fujinami Kaho, who was originally mentioned briefly in the TV anime, including descriptions and background settings from the original novel. During the day, she works a regular part-time job. From evening until night, she attends a part-time high school, and after dinner late at night, she wanders around town. In the original novel, she is depicted practicing a golf simulator, but this is to practice for her current family's hobby, and she's active in the late night hours because it's the only free time she has. Not because she wants to be a delinquent. Which explains why she was probably just like, oh, you don't view me this type of way. However, there are circumstances that make it difficult for her to proudly call herself pure and innocent. These stem from her past, and I will delve into this in the commentary on episode 12 along with the current family. Although she is used to dealing with being hit on and seems to have a lot of life experience, she also has a shy side that comes with her age, like the whole thing with, again, the seaweed. When she was having lunch with Yuuta, she tried to get a rice ball, but stopped and instead got a fruit sandwich. After explaining the reasons, she quickly concludes with, so I gave up, and then she says, see you tomorrow, with a slightly awkward look on her face. Everything about this film shows Fujinami Kaho's true-to-life cuteness, and I thought that both the drawing and Tanizaki Atsumi's acting were wonderful. They're slowly becoming a very normal 17-year-old brother and sister. At this point, Yuuta and Saki are only 16. They'll be 17 when their birthdays come in December. Because the line is conscious of the passage of time, the person saying it says that, oh, this is interesting, says that she is 17 years old even though she is still only 16. It may have also had the hidden meaning of we're getting closer to adulthood. They can hide their feelings well and build smooth relationships. I think this monologue contains two meanings. They're becoming adults and they're becoming brother and sister. Now, the next episode is episode 12, the final episode. Please watch them through to the end to see what kind of place the relationship will reach. So that's the end of episode 11. The next episode is episode 12, and although I've already watched it over 20 times, no, I'll stop now. I want you to watch it with a fresh feeling, so I won't say much. To be honest, Kyle's not the type of girl I see getting hit on that much. I honestly completely agree. I like her, and I think she's nice, but I don't think she's meant to come off that way. Especially even the fact that they make her tall, and there's usually a stigma around being like a tall woman. She's a little bit awkward. The whole thing about the night school stuff, like everything about her, even down to her eye color, she's just weird. Bro, why would you spoil yourself? Oh my. Oh, don't do this to yourself, man. It's too late. But anyway, guys, we're done here. As I said, this would be under an hour. We're at 55 minutes and currently 34 seconds. So we're going to end this one here. For those on the YouTube side, I hope you enjoyed. As I said before, this was a very good, interesting episode. You see the diverging paths that are taking place. But the things I'll always go back to is, again, Yuuta and Saki are on basically two different but similar paths of trying to form connections with people. But these connections, I firmly believe, are going to not fall apart, but prove not to be as strong as the feelings they have for each other. We often talk about an anime like Homono, like the real thing. I always think about that from Origaido as a TV series, about the quest and searching for something that is real. And while they can have these bonds with other people, I really do think that Saki and Yuuta, through these interactions and not achieving the same level of satisfaction, are going to realize like the real thing is really between the two of them. That's just what I think. And then we'll have to deal with the ethics and all the other stuff, whatever. But I think that's where things are going to kind of land in episode number 12. The two of them realizing like, hey, our feelings for each other are legit. Now, whether they tell each other this or not, I don't know. Homono. We'll see what happens. We will see. But nonetheless, everyone, I thought this was Honto. No, Honto is really. Homono is like real. Like something that's like legit, that's real in front of you. So it's Homono, not Honto. Honto is like Honto? I'm stupid. But anyway. Great episode. Let me know your thoughts, comment section down below, everybody. Like the video, subscribe, like my content. Of course, it is greatly appreciated as always. And with that, I am Leonard and I'm out. Take care, everybody. And of course, have a good one. Peace.